If Jesus did it, then I must do it. If Jesus was angry, then I should be angry. Well, that is a little faulty reasoning, you know. Remember that Jesus was something that you and I are not. He was omniscient. He was omnipresent. He was omnipotent. You and I know in part. You and I are limited in one place, and you and I cannot do everything. You want proof for that? You hold a book, and you say, "Book, go up." No matter how big an order you give, the book, when you let it go, it'll go down. Because there is there an inexorable physical law, the law of gravity. You can't cancel it. And remember, never be so simplistic in saying, Jesus did it, I can do it. But we find an example in what the Lord Jesus did. And when we find the reasons why he did what he did, then we say, if we are found in similar circumstances, maybe we indeed ought to follow his example. And so in this matter of anger, we said, first of all, that there is bad anger and there is good anger. There is anger that is motivated by selfish reasons. When I am personally attacked, then I attack back. And so does a dog. But you and I are not dogs. On the other hand, there is the anger which is aroused when a principle is attacked. When your wife, when your friends are in danger, and you become angry and you defend them. That's good. That's righteous. That's justified anger. So, when we see the Lord Jesus being angered, we must examine why did he get angry. If the reasons are the same, then we say, if my anger is of that kind, is motivated by the same principles as the anger of the Lord Jesus, then my anger too is justified. This is why I wrote this booklet, Is Anger Ever Justified? And you can get this booklet if you listen to the announcements that will be made concerning it. And this is taken actually out of my first volume on James, on the 3-volume set, The Work of Faith. Now, I want to call your attention to the 3rd chapter of the Gospel of Mark. The 3rd chapter of the Gospel of Mark. And the scene is in the synagogue where the Lord Jesus grew up, the synagogue of Nazareth. And it was a Sabbath day, and they were having worship in the synagogue. And there came into the synagogue a man with a withered hand. He was physically handicapped. And if you have a withered hand, it can be easily seen, and the hand probably is dropping, and everybody could see that this man was handicapped. And what happened? We read in verse 2 of the 3rd chapter of Mark. And they were looking at him. The people, the other people in the synagogue, they were looking at him on that Sabbath day, lest Jesus would heal him. There you are now. There are 2 principles involved. The one principle is that the Sabbath is indeed a holy day, that we should rest on the Sabbath day and we should worship the Lord. This is what God instituted in the law. But now, here comes this man with a withered hand, and all the faithful Jews in that synagogue were watching now how Jesus would react to a need. Would he put first the need of this man, of this invalid, who was unable to have control of his hand, or would the Lord Jesus stick to the defense of the Sabbath day being a day in which we could not work and which should be devoted totally to worship? Now, the motive, their motive, the people's motive was wrong. They were watching him to see if they could accuse him. In other words, their purpose was to find fault with the Lord Jesus Christ. Now, whatever the Lord Jesus would have done, these people would have found fault with him. If, for instance, he decided not to do anything for this man, they would say, well, look at him. He shows no interest in this man who needs somebody to heal him. And yet, the Lord Jesus is the one who is supposed to be compassionate toward the needs of others. But he does nothing. He sticks to the letter of the law. And he is not helping this man because it is the Sabbath day. So, no matter what the Lord Jesus would have done, these people would have found fault with him. But here is what. And he saith to the man with the withered hand, and that is the Lord Jesus, get up in the middle. Come here so that everybody can see you. And verse 4, and he says to them, the Lord Jesus said to the people who are watching now to see what he would do, is it permissible or is it lawful? And I'm translating directly from my Greek text. Is it permissible or is it lawful to do good, to be benevolent, or to do evil? To save a soul or to kill a soul? And they were keeping quiet. And then observe verse 5 of the 3rd chapter of Mark. And when he looked around at them, that's Jesus now, with what? With anger. Now the word is oryi, with wrath. Inside him he was boiling because he could read their thoughts. They were there to accuse him. They were there to say he was wrong in whatever he did. And looking at them with what? With anger. Did Jesus get angry? Well, what is this here? But why was he angry? Because of the questioning about him. When you are out to find fault with somebody, no matter what he does, Jesus is angry at you. And you don't blame him, do you?